Do you like B-movies? Hi, I'm Scott and this is my vlog about B-movies. So what are B-movies? Dwayne R. Martin, a writer for bmoviecentral.com, says, B-movies have a feeling and style all of their own. They're low budget, formulaic, and feature some of the cheesiest acting you'll ever see on film. B-movies are a term to describe a movie with a lower budget and oftentimes made independently. There are many different types of B-movie, as they are budget versions of films. Genres range from westerns, sci-fi to gangster and exploitation. The most popular and controversial genre of these is horror. It's hard to perfectly describe a B-movie horror film. With a lower budget can come great interesting ideas and emphasis on atmosphere, but it can also allow for bad filmmaking and terrible acting. Overall, they're an interesting, weird section of film and are a blast to watch, bad or good. The humour that can come from a bad movie is undeniably hilarious. Movies like The Room and Troll 2 being labelled so bad it's good by the internet. B-movies gain cult credibility on the internet for either being so bad it's good or impressive for the low budget they had to make it. This is how I found out about most of these movies. Now let's look at some of my favourite B-movie directors. Sam Raimi is well known for the Spider-Man trilogy, but he started out as making B-movies, much like Peter Jackson with the movie Brain Dead or Dead Alive If You Live in North America. Raimi created the infamous Evil Dead trilogy, which is some of the greatest B-movies ever made in my opinion, with effects that go from memorable and timeless to outrageous and ridiculous, all blend perfectly into the mix. It stars one of my favourite B-movie actors, Bruce Campbell, who is great at balancing slapstick humour and courageousness. He really brings the movie to a high with his character Ash. You never know what this character will do next, which adds the non-stop thrill ride of the movie. Another great director has to be Lloyd Kaufman, who created the Toxic Avenger movies, which is hilarious and pushed the boundaries of how violent and sickening a movie can be. Some scenes like when the villains beat up an old woman with a walking stick and even when they run over a kid. Movies like The Toxic Avenger have a clear influence on more modern movies like Hatchet from 2006, which has gore and practical effects similar to B-movies like these. These two movies relied heavily on shock value and immense amounts of blood. They also rely heavily on special effects and acting. This is why they are set apart from bad B-movies who are lacking in these qualities. With great gore comes great controversy, and B-movies had a lot of it. Labelled as video nasties by the press, the movies were hated by critics and parents alike, and these caused these movies to have a bad reputation among society in the UK. The reason is that B-movies have a certain impact that other movies don't, the way filmmakers can bend the very rules of which a movie with a budget has. This can be very threatening to the government, as there is no limit on what these young filmmakers can do, and most of what they did was gory and vulgar. Also, because of its low budget, it feels more genuine, and has a certain personality about it. This means that they are very different from the movies being shown at the time. Movie effects can range from inventive and good looking to incredibly terrible. For example, this scene from Troll 2, a movie known for being so bad it's good, has some of the worst acting of all B-movies.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
Whereas this movie scene from Dead Alive is a movie scene that is fantastically imaginative and funny.
Party's over.
This is all due to what the filmmaker has up his sleeve and how much effort they're willing to put in. For example, this movie scene from The Toxic Avenger, known as the taco bar scene, shows exactly why this movie is so popular, with a sense of imagination and humour.
Okay, you motherfucker!
Now this trailer for the giant spider invasion shows exactly why this movie was popular for all the wrong reasons, with it being incredibly boring with terrible special effects and acting.
bent on destroying that beast.
The fact that most things are made using CGI makes me crave for practical effects in film. So they're the same looking computerized effects that could be used on visually pleasing monsters, spacecrafts and gore. I've experimented with 3 different B-movie gore effects to prepare for my final major project. The first effect I've chosen is the intestinal rip. The intestinal rip can be seen in many different B-movies like Dead Snow and The Toxic Avenger. It usually involves a killer or villain of the movie opening up the victim's stomach and ripping out their intestines. If done right like the scene from Dead Snow showed, it creates a gory effect that looks disgusting and effective. To make my own intestine effect, I used a video walkthrough on YouTube. I used fake blood, stockings, a ripped shirt, and tissue paper. I stuffed tissue paper into the stockings and dipped them in fake blood. I then used a shirt with a rip in the front for an opening for the intestines to get through. I used my friend to test it on, and I pulled the intestines through the shirt using doses of fake blood on the shirt. The effect looked great, and I will use this method for my final major project. Another scene I wanted for my final major project involved a smashed, decomposed head on the floor to show exactly what my monster has done to its victim. For reference, I used a scene from Lemmy's show where a character crushes heads with bricks. Although not a B-movie and a comedy, it used a B-movie-like effect here, and I figured my piece is going to be satirical, so it may gain a laugh. I used anything I had in my cupboard to create a disgusting mess, including tinned tomatoes, tinned meatballs, and macaroni. I created a disgusting concoction and put it on the floor. It looked fine, but it needed fake eyeballs and other facial features to make it look more like a head has been crushed on the floor. I'll use it in my final piece, using the fake appendages to make it look even more brutal and gory. The last scene I've experimented with is the head mutilation effect. I will use this effect for more hands-on effects that require a shot of the head. This has been seen on many different B-movies in many different ways. The way I've achieved it is using a polystyrene head and filling it with fake blood. The effect worked well and looked great for punching in and other useful effects. Why would I be interested in B-movies, you ask? Well, I like the style of horror and shows that anyone can pick it up, showing that you don't need a huge budget to make an extremely entertaining, gory masterpiece. I also like how it's an accessible medium, and that even if it's bad, there will be fans of it. So now you know about some of the practical effects used in B-movies, how controversial a subject they are, and how they still influence directors to this day, my favourite B-movie directors and actor, and how passionate I am towards this genre of film. For our practical effects examples, I feel that making B-movies is an enjoyable process that is very rewarding. Using gore and effects is extremely fun and allows me to be imaginative with it. Using these effects on my final major project will hopefully be a rewarding experience. With the methods I've practiced being used on it, I'll use the effects I've seen on other B-movie horrors to storyboard and plan effective scenes that are memorable. son, such a brother.